Consulting Leaders Podcast, where we talk about the business of consulting. Whether you're looking to grow your practice or learn from the stories of leaders in consulting, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Guillaume Jouvencel, ex-PwC and co-founder of GHA Marketing. Join me as I interview the best consultants in their niche. Let's get on with the show. Thiago, welcome to Consulting Leaders. Happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Let's jump straight into it. So, what got you into consulting and what got you into focusing on AI specifically?
Absolutely. So I had been for a while exploring different career opportunities, and it just so happened that a few months after ChatGPT was launched, I went to a AI conference here in Miami, and I was pretty shocked that throughout the entire day, there were over 16 speakers, multiple panels, multiple brands, multiple AI companies talking. And for the entire day, I never heard anything about small businesses. Everybody was talking about enterprise and the enterprise needs and what they were going to do to get those big enterprise AI accounts for the AI projects. And really, nobody was talking about the need of 95% of the businesses in America, right, which are SMBs. And so in that moment, I realized that there was a big gap in the market, that these SMBs were going to be even more left behind by the AI revolution than they already were by the internet and social media. And as we know, all these giant companies that have been eating up more and more of our small businesses over the last 10, 20, 30 years. And so that was the spark for me. That was the moment that made me think, I don't want anybody in our community to get left behind. Small businesses are just as important to our economy. And that was really the spark that made me go, let me start my own business and focus on the need of these growing businesses that nobody seems to be addressing.
Why do you think is that? Why do you think people overlooked small businesses?
I think it's easy when you're starting a company to want to go after the big accounts, right? When you're starting a software project, especially, or a technology project, it's very tempting, right, to tailor all of the solutions that you're coming up with to those enterprise businesses, to those big accounts, because of course it is a lot of work to get those enterprise accounts. But once you get one, all of a sudden you have hundreds of thousands of users, right, depending on the company, versus small businesses that you have to go one business at a time, 10, 15, 20 employees at a time, right, at these businesses. And so I can understand the temptation of companies to really tailor their solutions to the enterprise accounts. But at the same time, small businesses do represent the majority of businesses across the US and across the world, right? And so it doesn't really make sense to leave out their needs behind when they actually represent a bigger piece of the pie as compared to the enterprise accounts.
So what is the main problem that you're solving for the small businesses then? Like, what do you help them achieve?
The opportunity with AI, just as with many other technologies when they come, is the opportunity of leveling the playing field, right? New technology usually means that for the smaller businesses, for the smaller companies, if they apply it correctly, they can level the playing field against the enterprises and really grow themselves and find new clients. And that's really the opportunity with AI as well. AI technology, for example, with AI search and answer engine optimization, is really leveling the playing fields online for companies, right? Including for my own consultancy. I am playing against the giants. I am competing against Accenture and EY and McKinsey. And the way that I've been able to do that has been by leveraging AI, right? By leveraging AI search and answer engine optimization, so that now I can be a top result in Google. I can be the #1 recommended company in ChatGPT. And that is allowing me to play again against these giant enterprises. And that is the opportunity for small businesses all over the country, is utilizing this new technology in ways that are creative, in ways that are different than what the big companies are doing, and in that way be able to stand out instead of be taken out of business.
That does make a lot of sense. Who's your, I guess it's going to be pretty obvious who you need to talk to, right? Founder, CEO of the small businesses, usually. Do you have a specific industry, a specific niche, a specific vertical that you help with when it comes to AI?
So it's been really interesting for me. Prior to my AI company, I was working in the hospitality sector, so nothing to do with technology or AI at all. And that's the sector that I started going after first with my business, since there was some natural history there. But ever since then, it has been really varied for my company, Elevate AI Consulting. We've had businesses across all industries and across all sizes as well, from small businesses with 5, 10 employees, all the way to Fortune 500 companies with hundreds of thousands of employees. So we've been very fortunate when it comes to our clients and the industries that have sought us out. And the reason they're seeking us out is really because of our focus on the return on investment. Right? We've heard for the past few months across the news, right? The conversation around AI has really shifted, right? When ChatGPT and all of these other tools first came out, we were all so impressed, right, by everything that they could do. And now there has been a 180, and what you hear on the news are companies really looking for the return on their investment, right? Companies are really talking about how we've been promised all these efficiencies, all of these higher margins, and our employees just being much, much more effective. And it's been a couple of years now since ChatGPT has come out, and companies want to see the results. They want to see the receipts. And so that is the number one problem that I'm helping companies solve, regardless of their size, whether they have 5 employees or 500,000. Our focus is on the immediate return on investment from these AI projects. And that is the reason that companies of all sizes have come looking for our services.
That's interesting. So how do you market to those people, Thiago? How do you brand? How do you get the attention of those specific people by saying, hey, I'm going to be able to help you with AI? What has worked for you marketing-wise to get the attention of the right people?
Yeah, so for my business specifically, one of the main things that has worked has been hosting live events here. So we are based in Miami, Florida. And when I first started my business, what I did was partner with pretty much any organization that had a space where they would let me host a free workshop or an education-focused event around AI. So for those people out there that are looking to start their own businesses, it's about being really creative, right? Go to your local chamber of commerce. It's about going to the local co-working spaces, right, that are always looking for events for their employees. It's about maybe asking that one friend of yours that has the meeting room in their company, hey, can I use your meeting room to have a workshop there for the businesses around you, right? And you go and invite those businesses. That has been the number one thing that has worked for me, has been providing free workshops and free education as a lead magnet. That's my number one lead magnet. Other than that, I participate in a lot of podcasts, such as this one is a really great way to not only generate business and referrals, but it's also a really great way to increase credibility online. So when we're talking about AI search, tools such as ChatGPT and Gemini, they're really scanning the web for your credibility. And so participating in podcasts and workshops on YouTube and things like that really helps increase your credibility as well, so that you can be the number one recommended service on AI answers. And as well as I do a lot of organic marketing on my LinkedIn. I write a lot of thought pieces, blog posts, news, and just in general trying to be active online. Those have been my number one sources of income. And of course, referrals as well, right? When you really have a great service that people love, they will refer you to other companies as well. And that has been what has been happening with, especially my AI training bootcamp. which is our number one service that we offer, the referrals there are always happening because people love the bootcamp so much.
I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you, Thiago.
Yes.
Everybody talks about AI, right? I understand how at the biggest conferences, you might have people talking mainly about like middle market, potentially enterprise AI, because let's face it, it's probably where the bigger contracts are. So that's where well-established businesses typically go. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of people who want to go into that, AI niche for small businesses. Like sometimes it's one industry specifically, others are not like are industry agnostic. Yeah. How do you, in your opinion, in your experience, right? How can you differentiate when you're in such it's the gold rush, right? Everybody wants AI, so everybody sees the opportunity of helping other people get AI and implement it properly for their business and so on. How do you differentiate? How do you, make yourself seen by the right people in a place where it's pretty loud at the moment? Can you talk us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I definitely can. That's something that I've been thinking about since I launched this business, right? As you mentioned, it is a pretty saturated market. Everybody's talking about AI. Everybody wants to do AI, right, in one way or another. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I've been able to differentiate my business. I am turning left when everybody's turning right. So as you've seen, the headlines that we see right now are about major companies such as Amazon and Google and all of these other big tech companies reducing workforce, right, in favor of AI. And as I mentioned, my focus is more on the small and medium-sized businesses, right? And so I am out there making a lot of noise about what is happening at Amazon, what is happening at Google, how those things are not actually relatable to the everyday small business out there, right? Like the fact that Amazon is letting go of 10,000 employees in favor of AI efficiencies is not exactly relatable to the mom and shop business down the street that has 10 employees, right? And so for Elevate AI Consulting, the way that we've been able to differentiate ourselves has been to be very clear on the fact that we actually do not work on staff reduction projects. If your AI strategy starts with how many people can I cut, we are not the right partner for you. Thanks for calling us, but I will refer you to another company who specializes in that. For Elevate AI Consulting, our focus is on upskilling people. Our focus is on preparing the workforce for the future. So if you're a company that has invested in your employees for all of these years, which most companies are, right? As a business owner, nobody hires people thinking about how soon can I fire them, right? You're hiring people because you want to invest in them, because you believe that they're the right fit for your business. And once you do hire them, you invest them by paying them a salary, by giving them great benefits, by providing great trainings, by the positive work culture that you create for those employees. And we've all been doing that for forever, right? And to all of a sudden now think, oh, hey, AI is here. How many people can I cut? How can I let go of these people? That is just not the reality that I'm seeing out in the market. And so that has been one of the main ways that I've been able to differentiate my company, is by staking that clear flag on the ground and saying, if your AI strategy starts with how many people can I cut, we are not the right partner for you. If your AI strategy starts with how do I prepare my workforce for the future, then we are the best at what we do, and please call us. And that has been one of the biggest reasons for our success, is that trust that we're able to create with our clients and their employees, and that true focus that we have on looking towards the future and believing that your people are actually your biggest competitive advantage. It's not the AI system that you choose, it's how well you train your people on how to use it.
I like that. It's in marketing, I don't know the exact term, but it's like tribalism, I think. It's like when you're making something or someone the enemy, and you're like, I'm fighting this. If you're also against that, come and join me. That's a pretty powerful positioning, and that does work. I mean, you're the proof of it.
Yes.
Tell me a bit more about your sales motion. So, hey, if you're looking at firing people, we're not the right fit. If you're looking at taking your whole organization and team to the next level, we're the best at what we do. How do you move from that to a sales conversation, to an SOW, to a letter of engagement? What does sales motion look like for you, Thiago?
Yes, so it really depends on what is the product that we're selling, right? There's different paths for that. So Elevate AI, on one hand, we are providing corporate training and education. And so that is usually a pretty straightforward sales path in my experience. By the time that a company has reached out to me, or by the time that we're having conversations about something as intensive as an AI training bootcamp, they're usually pretty serious, right? It's not just any company that's going to go out looking for that type of service. And so if the conversation has gotten to that point, I'm usually already either talking to a senior manager or even a VP at that point, who is under a lot of pressure to show results for their AI initiatives, or I am talking to somebody from human resources who is also already very used to hiring corporate trainers, right, and consultants. And so the sales process for that can usually go pretty fast. Now, when we're talking about the more custom projects, right, the automations, the AI search optimizations, those more long-term projects that also usually have a higher ticket item, that is usually a longer sales process, because you do have to go through procurement. There's a lot, the bigger the company, the more coordination you're going to have with different departments, such as IT and legal as well. And so that's usually a longer sales process. And the key there has always been to focus on the return on investment and the case studies that I have from previous clients, also focusing on that ROI. Companies, nothing has changed here in the world of AI. Companies are still looking at their bottom line first. They're still looking for ROI first in any initiative that they do. And so focusing on that usually does help the sales cycle move a little bit faster.
Being results oriented usually helps a lot. How do you, so take me back on one of the things you mentioned earlier, which is like client retention and keeping your clients happy. This is half the work of a consultant, right? Half the work is to acquire new customers, the other half is to retain them and find ways to, transform one engagement into another engagement, not just to milk as much as possible, if you'd allow me the expression, but more like to keep on providing value to the clients, all whilst, of course, being able to build them because of that value. So how do you guys do this at your company? How do you retain clients and trigger more engagements with the clients that you sign?
Yes, so the number one product that we sell right now at Elevate AI is our AI training bootcamp, which is a 2-day AI training bootcamp designed to change behavior. Make people think AI first whenever they're starting any type of project, and also show an immediate ROI from that bootcamp. And so to me, that I am lucky enough that is not only our number one highest selling and most profitable product that we have at the company, but it is also a great magnet for continuing those long-term relationships, right? Once you've spent 2 days with the client, with their entire team, building AI solutions and really building that trust and showing all of the possibilities that AI can bring to that company, it really becomes a natural relationship after that. But of course, I also have ways to ensure that the conversation keeps going post the bootcamp. So one of the things that I make sure to offer is always a post bootcamp session, a discovery session with the leadership of the company, which works great once the bootcamp is completed, because the leaders are usually very excited about everything that they've seen. very hopeful about all the use cases that their team has built during the bootcamp. And there is an established shared language now amongst the team, right? Like the leadership, the managers, everybody on the team, and myself, we've all attended this bootcamp together. Now we all speak the same language, so to speak, and we're ready to talk future AI opportunities. So ensuring that it is on the schedule already right after the bootcamp, that post bootcamp discovery session, it is one of the keys. And then, of course, continue providing value, right? You want to show that you are there for the business. I am showing that as these employees build use cases during my bootcamp, I'm there to continue supporting them on how to use it or how to continue developing it after the bootcamp is done. So it's about continuing to be present, continuing to provide value during the bootcamp and after the bootcamp as well, and ensuring that you have built-in contact points so that you can continue that relationship development after that first engagement.
I like that a lot. I'm going to throw another curveball at you, Thiago.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
You seem to be knowing what you're doing, which is obviously reassuring. And I think, when the tide is rising, it lifts all boats. And I think overall the AI industry has its up and downs and promises and like shortcomings, of course. But overall, this is probably an industry meant to keep on growing, to say the least. That said, what's your number one challenge right now at Elevate AI? Like, what's that one nut that you're trying to crack that once you crack, you're going to take the whole thing to the next level? What would that be for you?
Yes, I think what I've identified as the big challenge, not just for Elevate AI, but I think for AI consultants in general, is that AI is so deceivingly easy to use, right? Anybody can download ChatGPT, answer any vague question that they want, and they're like, voila, I'm a genius, right? I know how to use AI. This is really easy. And what people have now, I believe, as I've seen over the past few weeks, especially coming into this year, people have started to realize that there's a lot more to it than that, right? As we know, ChatGPT is level 0. That is like the most basic AI usage that you can possibly have. And it just gets so much more powerful beyond ChatGPT. There's so many tools out there that 99% of people have not even realized or imagined that it's possible, right? And so to me, that has been the biggest challenge, is usually hearing from managers when I propose an AI training and they say, oh no, my team is really good at using AI. They're power users already. And most of the time, those managers are overestimating that, right? And just people are still just asking vague questions from ChatGPT, getting vague answers, never had any actual proper training on prompting or just different power tips and tricks, how to use it, right? And so to me, that's been the biggest challenge so far, is just convincing some managers or some human resources representatives and things like that, that the training is actually needed. It is not just a matter of downloading the app and you're off to the races. People need to know how to use it properly in order to get those efficiencies that we've been promised by AI, right? And so overcoming that challenge has been really interesting. And like I said, it's the biggest challenge and also the biggest advantage of AI, right? It is so easy to use, and that's one of the best things about it. But from a return on investment perspective and from a corporate perspective, the fact that it's so easy to use is actually very deceiving, because people are underestimating how much training is actually needed.
So, if I understand properly, the challenge is educating your ICP on not the dangers of AI, but more like the going beyond the I know how to prompt ChatGPT to write an email doesn't mean that I'm proficient at AI. So is that the challenge that you're referring to, like educating your industry?
Yes, that's exactly correct. Most people that you see out there are using AI just very simply, hey, help me refine this email, or help me, come up with a paragraph, or just very, very simple tasks, right? Number one. And then number two, just using it like Google, right? Just very simple queries, very simple questions and answers. And a lot of times not even getting very good or personalized results from those answers, right? Just because of the lack of skills in prompting. And so it's very easy for someone to give a very vague question to ChatGPT, get a mediocre response, and think that that's all that AI does. People have not realized the power of AI to build websites, to automate so many different tasks, right? To build apps, to really anything that you can imagine on the internet nowadays, you can very easily build with AI with a simple prompt. And most people have not realized that yet. They're still just asking the basic questions, getting mediocre answers, and a lot of times giving up on AI completely because they think that that's all there is to it.
That's interesting. So I'd like to sit in that challenge a bit, because so obviously the reason I'm asking this question, and this question specifically, Thiago, is we will have people listening to us right now who face the same challenge, right? At the end of the day, educating, and regardless of the niche, because so we work with people who help small businesses implement AI. I think it's true in any industry, like educating your audience and your ICP, making them problem aware and making them aware of the opportunity cost and what it costs them not to know XYZ when it comes to AI. Like, hey, yes, cool. Your sales team uses TLDV or an AI tool that summarizes everything and creates bullet points. Cool. But did you know you could do X, Y, Z and make them gain another 2 hours per day whatsoever? That's the real challenge. Whether that's AI, industry, I don't know, finance, you name it, you name the industry. So how do you think about solving that challenge? How do you think about getting people educated on the topic of corporate usage of AI for small businesses, so that not only they get better results for their businesses, but also they see results and they're like, cool, that's thanks to Thiago who educated me on this, so now I'm going to reach out to him to take even the next level. How are you thinking about solving that challenge?
Yeah, so what I've created in order to solve that challenge has been my AI training bootcamp, right? I think it has been really, really amazing to see from my clients, the companies that I've been working with, just the total mindset shift once they go through that bootcamp. Because as I mentioned, most people are still just thinking of ChatGPT as like a more advanced Google. But once you get them to own part of the process, that's when really the mindset shift happens, right? So in my bootcamp, not only did we go through all the fundamentals and the prompting, and we do all the power skills in ChatGPT or Gemini, whichever tool they happen to be using, or Copilot. But from there, I get people to actually build an AI use case based on their job. So that can be something as simple as building a custom GPT to help you answer, emails that you are sending similar emails every day, but now you have a custom GPT helping you with that. It can be building a simple app for time tracking for your team. I've had somebody in my bootcamp, just within the hour and a half, 2 hours that we had to build an entire prompt library app that their team now could access all the best prompts for their tools that they were using and reuse them and rate them and improve upon them. So that is how I'm addressing that challenge, is by giving people the opportunity to see what is actually possible, right? Most people would not imagine that they can actually build an app within just a prompt or two, right? They can, if they have that new business idea, they can build a website with just a few words in a prompt to an AI, right? Like the possibilities out there are so limitless, and the only way to overcome that challenge is by people actually seeing what is possible and becoming interested and becoming curious. And so the bootcamp is a direct answer to that challenge that I'm seeing at businesses that just have not realized yet what is possible beyond ChatGPT, or even sometimes what is possible with ChatGPT, right? And so my bootcamp is a direct answer to that challenge. Is how do we take AI, not only show people what is possible to do with it, but also walk away from it with an immediate use case that you can start using the very next day at your job to make yourself more efficient right away. That's the answer to the challenge. That is the answer that we have to the ROI problem. And that is the answer also that we have to the overall lack of knowledge about the possibilities.
Thiago Ferreira, ladies and gentlemen. Thiago, if people want to find out more about you, see what you do, where should they go?
You can find us at Elevate AI Consulting on all the platforms. We post a lot of educational content and AI news, especially on our LinkedIn. I am constantly as well posting workshops and different skill-based videos on our YouTube. And you can also find us on Instagram, and it is all at Elevate AI Consulting. Very, very simple and easy.
We'll put all the links in the description. Thiago, thank you so much for coming on Consulting Leaders.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Consulting Leaders Podcast. We hope you learned valuable lessons on how to grow your practice and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time.
How